Welcome to Bed Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, T. It is now official. Anna Kepner's death has been ruled a homicide. And thanks to an exclusive interview that Anna Kepner's grandparents gave to ABC News, we're learning more about the cheerleader's last vacation. Shocker, the grandparents were along for the cruise. In fact, 8 family members were on the cruise. Anna's paternal grandmother, Barbara Kepner, Anna's paternal grandfather, Jeffrey Kepner, Anna's father, Christopher, Anna's stepmother, Chantel, Anna's younger brother, Connor, Anna's stepbrother, Timothy, Chantel's younger daughter, and Anna's younger sister. Barbara told ABC News that the family was having a great time and she couldn't fathom why anybody would want to hurt Anna. Barbara, who described Anna as independent and mighty, said that this family cruise was intended to be a family tradition. According to Barbara, the 2 youngest girls stayed in Christopher and Chantel's cabin. Anna's brother Connor, her stepbrother Tim, and Anna all opted to share a cabin. Barbara also stated that she and her husband Jeffrey let the kids know that they had a larger room in their cabin, and if any of the kids wanted to stay there, they had an extra bed. So it sounds like Anna did not have to share the cabin with her stepbrother. The grandparents also told ABC News that they saw their new step-grandchildren simply as new grandchildren. There was no step, this or that. Barbara also said she loved the new grandchildren just as much as she loved her biological grandchildren. And according to Barbara, Anna and Tim were, quote, 2 peas in a pod. Barbara went on to say, quote, I know that those 2 kids cared about each other in the right way. I can't accuse him because I don't know what happened in that room, end quote. The authorities told the family that the stepbrother was the only one seen going in and out of the cabin that he was sharing with Anna. Now that's weird because it was said that Anna's 14-year-old brother Connor was also staying in the room. And they said that he went in there with Tim. Connor, grabbed his camera and left the room to go take photos of the cruise ship. So I'm not sure if that's not true. Barbara confirmed that the authorities told the family that there were no signs of SA and that there did not appear to be any drugs or alcohol in Anna's system. According to Barbara, the reason that Anna wasn't feeling well at that last dinner was due to her braces. I guess the braces were hurting. So Anna told her grandmother that she was going back to her room for a little bit because she didn't feel well. But Anna must have felt better at some point because according to Barbara, she got up, got dressed up, went down to the casino, sat and played $20. She didn't win anything, and then she left. The next morning, Grandpa Jeffrey was buying bingo cards when he heard a medical alert over the ship's loudspeakers. He recognized the room number. It was the room that Anna was staying in. He said he went blank and was hoping that it was something minor. He went to the room and saw that Anna's body had been discovered by a room attendant. And as we heard, the body was concealed under the bed. According to Jeffrey, there were bruises on the side of Anna's neck. When Anna's father entered the room, he immediately knew that Anna was deceased. Barbara said she began screaming and couldn't stop when she heard the news. She told ABC News that she thought Anna would have told her if she had any concerns about her safety with the stepbrother. And according to Barbara, the stepbrother Tim told her that he doesn't remember what happened. The first thing that came to my mind was psychotic break, or he's fibbing. Law enforcement questioned the stepbrother along with the other family members. Barbara said the stepbrother was an emotional mess. He couldn't speak. He couldn't believe what had happened. And once the boat docked in Miami, The stepbrother was hospitalized for psychiatric observation and then released to stay with a family member. And apparently, the boy is living with a relative of his mother's and he is receiving counseling. But I'm wondering, now that Anna's death has been ruled a homicide, will there be an arrest? Barbara and Jeffrey Kepner want to know why it happened, but they fear that they may never get an answer. Personally, I find it weird that the grandparents are saying that Anna was very close with her 16-year-old stepbrother. That seems to contradict what Anna's two ex-boyfriends have said. Both of them claimed that Anna was afraid of this stepbrother who carried a knife, and who one of the ex-boyfriends saw this stepbrother go into Anna's room while she was sleeping and crawl on top of her. Now, I shared a disturbing video yesterday that showed a scene from what is believed to be Chris Kepner's house. There was an elf on the shelf in a tabletop scene of Barbie doll debauchery. Yeah, the Barbies were all naked and in various lewd poses. One Barbie had her face down in what looked like flour. I guess it was supposed to be imitating an illicit substance. Another Barbie was hanging from the chandelier. It too was sans clothing. Anna's younger brother Connor was filmed looking very shocked and speechless by the whole scene. Honestly, he looked confused, he looked upset, he looked uncertain as to what to say. You hear an older female in the background telling him to look up at the chandelier. It was such an inappropriate scene for all of those kids. So I do have to question the adults that were watching over Anna and Connor and the others. Why would they subject innocent children to such a gross scene? It just shows really poor judgment. And now I'm wondering, because of that, is that why Barbara and Jeff Kepner are saying that Anna and the stepbrother were two peas in a pod? Is their loyalty more to their son, Christopher, than to Anna? Anna's biological mother and the mother's family members have been speaking out and questioning the behavior of Anna's father and stepmother. Anna's maternal uncle, Martin Donahue, was upset that Chris and Chantel were initially saying they had no idea what happened to Anna. And remember, according to another cruise guest whose brother made friends with Anna's brother Connor, Connor told the brother, the guest's brother, hope that makes sense, that his stepbrother, I'm assuming that's Tim, had a crush on Anna. Connor also allegedly disclosed to one of Anna's ex-boyfriends that he was locked out of the shared cruise cabin on the night Anna lost her life, November 6th. And Connor said he heard chairs being knocked around and yelling from inside the cabin. So you have to assume that was the stepbrother along with Anna, allegedly. But the authorities are saying nobody else went in and out of that cabin. Now, some people are upset that Donahue shared details about how Anna's body was found, allegedly without clothing and wrapped in a blanket. Such people are fearful that Donahue could jeopardize the authorities' case and the investigation if he continues to leak details. To me, it sounds like the biological mother's family members have major concerns about how Anna was treated by her father and stepmother and stepbrother. But that's also a little odd because it sounds like the biological mother had little contact with Anna over the years, perhaps because of her own choices, perhaps because of Anna's choices. No, that's not what I meant to say. Perhaps the bio mom had little contact with Anna over the years because of her own choice, perhaps because of her own life choices, perhaps because Anna's biological father discouraged contact. I think there's a lot more to this family than we know. And I'm sorry, why would Anna stay in a cabin with a stepbrother who allegedly scared her? Especially knowing now that her grandparents were on the cruise and they told her that she could stay with them. I was pretty shocked to hear that the paternal grandparents were on the cruise. I had assumed that those grandparents were from the mother's side of the family, but I was wrong. So what's the truth? Was Anna afraid of the stepbrother? Was she also too afraid to tell her grandparents? The grandparents made it sound like they'd told their grandchildren that all they asked of them was to be truthful and tell them things. So was Anna afraid of being honest, not only with her father and her stepmother, but also with her grandparents? But I go back to that elf on the shelf scene. To me, that scene spells trouble. It was lewd, it was crude, it was vulgar. It wasn't funny when you consider that Connor was there and Anna. I'm assuming it might have been last Christmas. So that would have made Connor, I think, 13. Why would parents present such a thing to children that are just learning about their sexuality, learning about life? To me, that scene was something like frat brothers would do, but not parents with young, impressionable children. Something is not adding up here. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hey, do me a favor, please subscribe whether you're on my YouTube channel, Bed Crime Stories, or on my TikTok. Leave me a comment, that really helps with the algorithms. And if you want to support the work I do, please consider a Patreon membership, as I am not currently monetized, and I won't be monetized until at least December 12th, and maybe not after that. I don't know. I'm getting jerked around by YouTube. See you next time.